The Sharks have won 2 in a row after going 8 in a row without a win. Do the Sharks have a new goaltender? And the youth movement is on. We'll talk about all that and more right now. This is Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday night, April 28th, 2021. The San Jose Sharks are victorious tonight as they defeated the Desert Dogs. Yes, get one more drink in. By the score of 4-2. And we'll talk about that and more right now on Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks postgame. We do this after every single game, home and away. So if you want to be part of the show, teal together and chat with us and fellow Sharks fans on the page or the app. Follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Really goes a long way. SoundCloud, Reddit, of course our Discord after the show, and then find everything at tealtownusa.com. Good evening, everyone. He is not Al Martinet. He actually is Ian Reid.
It's true. Not Al. Yeah, I'm here. Let's do this. Let's talk some Sharks.
Yeah. I mean, the Sharks, he's at Ian Blogs Hockey, by the way. The Sharks on a 2-game winning streak, unexpected after 8 in a row. It's like, we can never figure this team out, Ian. But the youth movement is on for sure with the lineup that Bob Boughner put out tonight.
Yeah, I think that this is what I said you should do, right? Like the last time I was on, I said, like, what do you have to lose at this point? It's time to play the kids, see what you've got in some of the guys, and see if you have guys that are going to be able to play a role next year, or do you have to look to free agency or something else to shore up the depth? I'm completely happy with what the Sharks have done in this last game, and winning 2 games in a row is also it was a nice change from 8 straight losses. I mean, it's not great for Team Tank, but
right.
It's hard, right? Because like at the same time, like obviously a better draft position is what this team needs. Like, yeah, if what this game, what did these 2 games do? Like, these 2 games didn't really put the Sharks back in the hunt. I think the Blues probably owe us a couple beers at this point, but
big time.
But really, I mean, what does this mean as far as playoffs go? It means the Blues probably have the best chance of taking that final seat in the West now. Like that 8-game streak really, really took the team out of it. So, if you're on Team Tank, yeah, okay, it's you want to see them maybe pick up a few more L's before this is over, but at the same time, it's nice to see some of the kids coming in and some of the kids playing in well.
Right. And it's nice to see what you have coming up in the NHL.
Yeah.
Get them some game time. You saw Alex True get the call up. You saw Brinson Pasternak make his NHL debut. The defenseman from Arizona State. He becomes the second Arizona State player in their short hockey program history to get into the NHL. I believe a goaltender from Ottawa was the first. But kudos to Arizona State, and as a side note, with the new Barracuda Arena opening up in a year or so, San Jose State. Let's get that going, huh? Let's make that happen. That'd be cool to see. The Sharks' second set of back-to-backs with the Arizona Coyotes got off to a nice start. Evander Kane, with his 20th of the season, with some nice passing from Alexander Barabanov, to make it 1-0. I thought there was definitely some chemistry there already.
Yeah, I think Barabanov's a player. Like, that's a guy that I would like to see. Definitely, I think he should stay in the lineup for sure. He's a guy that could put a couple guys on the hot seat next year as far as a spot in the NHL goes. I think there's definitely a player there. I mean, obviously it's a small sample size, so you don't want to get crazy excited. But I think this is a guy who could easily be a player going into next season. Obviously he's got to keep up the play that he's done so far, but yeah, I'd really, really like to see more of him. And I think he's, if I'm, a couple guys on this team, if I'm maybe a Dylan Gambrell at this point, maybe I'm a little bit nervous about my roster spot next year.
Yeah, I mean, you look at how Gambrell was out tonight, Donato was out tonight. I mean, not to say that Barabanov is on their level, but I mean, and he's getting some love in the chat. Sharky Boy, Yetso 97,
Yeah, I mean,
looking pretty solid.
he had a good at least his last season in the KHL was really, really good. And it's obviously there's a difference in leagues, but he's a guy that a lot of Leafs fans were really excited about, and they were kind of disappointed that he got traded, although obviously they're in a different situation than the Sharks are.
Right.
But I honestly think that there is a player there. And he will have to, he'll have to prove me otherwise at this point. I think that right now, I'm pretty high on this guy, and I think there's definitely a player there.
Yeah, definitely. And you love to see the chemistry, as I said before, already working with some of the top players. I mean, Evander Kane, his 20th goal this season, I believe it's his sixth 20-goal season. He's a handful of players to have that are active in the league. Which is hats off to Evander for everything he's gone through this season to get this done. And you know what? More power to you. But the Sharks wouldn't stop there. They would get another goal about midway through the period. Rudolph Balcers, another waiver wire pickup. That wasn't on the roster nearing the beginning of the season. With a nice move around Kemper to make it 2-0. I thought Balcers showing a little bit of the dangle there.
Yeah, Balcers is another guy that I'm pretty high on. I think that he's a guy that he's kind of snuck up on me with the goal total this season. Balcers is another guy I like. I don't know what the ceiling is there, but a smart move you really makes you wonder. When the Senators said they didn't have a spot for this guy, sometimes you got to scratch your head, right? And it goes to show right? Like how sometimes, GMs value different players differently. And a lot of people, that was the first reaction. Well, this guy can't make the Senators. What the hell are the Sharks going to do with them? But,
right.
good on the organization to bring him back. I really thought that I've been pretty high on his play. It's been uneven, and I will definitely give him that. But I'm still pretty high on this guy, and I was pretty high on him when the Sharks drafted him, and I was disappointed to lose him when he went to Ottawa on the Karlsson deal. That was the one that I was kind of like, ugh. I didn't think Josh Norris was going to be as good. Like I was starting to come around on Josh Norris, but I didn't think he was going to be this good.
Right.
So Balcers was the guy that I was like, man, that's going to be a sneaky pickup for the Senators in that deal. And obviously Josh Norris is having a hell of a year, but it was nice that, they didn't value Balcers the way that the Sharks did, obviously enough to bring him back.
Indeed. And to get Balcers the way they did without giving anything up, you get some piece of that trade back, which I think we all agree that, while the trade was decent, the deal that Erik Karlsson signed, but to get one of those pieces back and to pay dividends this season, win-win all around. Indeed, especially if he's going to be one of your top six forwards. One of the guys that was originally a top six forward and kind of been fluctuating through the ice or the lineup tonight was Kevin Lebank. He was out Monday with an undisclosed injury. He came back into the lineup tonight. Crashed the net, gets his 11th, which is nice to see. And as we're getting comments coming in from the dressing room, Bugner was mentioning Lebank and Meyer were both better tonight I've been hammering details with them. We need that 200-foot game. Need to be playing in all three zones, and of course, the one that both of them are going to be counted on the most, I think, goal scoring, and Lebank gets his 11th to really kind of set the tone and put this game out of reach early for the Sharks.
Yeah, it's on Timo Meier. Like Timo Meier's had a rough season so far. So I mean, I'm glad that they're kind of shuffling things around, and it's more, it feels like more of a meritocracy, which is what you kind of want when, especially when the team is, having the trouble that this team's having this year. So it was nice to see, guys that maybe aren't making all the money, but they were pushed up the lineup. Well, a guy like Timo Meier is making a pretty decent chunk of change, is, on the fourth line. I mean, obviously that's scary as hell going forward, but it's nice to see, I thought that Timo was better tonight. I don't think it was his best game as a Shark, but I thought he was better tonight. So I mean, it's good that I guess some of these messages are being sent, and some of them, like, at least they're starting to, respond a little bit.
About time, right? I mean, Meyer was on a really long schneid. Lebank has been hit or miss, so it's like, come on, guys, let's get this thing going. You don't have the sweetheart deal, you don't have the hometown discount. It's time to show up, and Lebank thankfully got a goal tonight, but again,
I don't think Lebank's been. I really don't think Lebank's been all that bad this year, to be completely honest. Like, I believe his point totals are pretty decent, all things considered. Like, maybe they're not where they probably thought he was gonna be, but let me bring up Kevin Lebank here, because I feel like his points are deceptively higher than.
I want to say it was like 26 points after that goal tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But
25 points. I mean, 25 points in 47 games. It's not amazing. Like, it's all, it's you need more from him for sure. But I think he's been, like, when you look at some of the other ways this team has struggled, I mean, he hasn't been the worst. I don't think he's been this dreadful monster that a lot of people make him out to be.
No, and definitely not offensively. I don't think. I think he's had a decent year. Yeah, I know coach has been on him about the freaking his game in the defensive zone, and he's been obviously hammering it home. But it's nice to see, and it was also nice to see a 3-0 Sharks lead. Again, giving it to the Coyotes early on. Of course, the Desert Dogs would try to make a comeback, and they've had like a number of multi-goal comebacks this season, especially against the Sharks. And of course, Phil Kessel's been part of that, and he got that first goal, point number 899 for Kessel to make it 3-1. And after 20 minutes, Ian, I was like, okay, 3-1, nice, but
yeah, things got a little dicey there, didn't they?
Not fun. I mean, I thought the Coyotes really took over the second.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I thought they, that Kessel goal, I mean, not a whole lot, like, there's not a whole lot that Kozenash could have done there, I don't think, because, like, it's just the way the position, like, obviously you think you'd want someone to be a little bit more on Kessel, but it was a 6-on-5 because of the delayed penalty. Not a whole lot he could have done there. Like, he can't, if he cheats too much to Kessel's side, then he's leaving the other side of the net open. So I mean, yeah, it wasn't great. And obviously the Coyotes, like, look, Coyotes are, the Coyotes do have something to play for. Like, these guys are playing for jobs, but the Coyotes are playing for their playoff lives right now, because St. Louis has, a few games in hand. I think a couple still on the Coyotes at this point. I think the Blues still have a couple points in hand, a couple games in hand, and now a point lead. So the Coyotes really going cold at the worst possible time for them. And that's obviously problematic for them. So I mean, they're still playing for something. So I'm not surprised that they kind of came on, especially in the second, try to get things going in their end again. But I thought the Sharks handled it well enough, and I thought Kozenash had a pretty good game.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Kozenash looked really. I thought a little more. Well, a little more, well, not little more, but way more confident than Jones has had in the last few games. What was it? 28 saves on 30 shots tonight. I
Yep.
mean, kudos to him to getting on, giving them a chance to win. I mean, yeah. I mean, you had the two goals, the end of the first, and then the one in the middle frame to make it really interesting. But after
Mhm.
that, I thought they shut it down.
Yeah, I thought
Like,
they played a good game. I thought they played a good game, and they didn't completely turtle, which we've seen them do with the lead too many times. There's a lot to like about this game tonight. They didn't turtle. They didn't just try and once the Coyotes pulled in, they kept pushing. Sometimes the Coyotes did have you know um a better, I thought, like, again, like you said, the Coyotes had a good second period, but the Sharks, they stuck with it and they didn't turtle. They didn't just try to hold the lead down. They kept pushing for another one, and I think that's what you'd want to see from this team, and we haven't seen that enough from this team this in the last 2 years.
yeah, definitely. The one thing that has struggled with the Sharks this season is that they would get tired, take some bad penalties. But I think in the third period, it was more so Arizona. I mean, yeah, the Sharks took a couple penalties that could have gave Arizona a chance to get back in the game. But kudos to the PK. Uh, but
Yeah.
uh, but you know, I don't know what it was about top offensive defensemen taking penalties in the third period, but EK65 took a couple. I know Brent Burns
I
had one
didn't.
to
Yeah,
second,
there
but
was one of those was garbage.
yeah, which
And
one?
yeah.
I mean,
And then Clayton Keller should probably bring a snorkel on the ice with him. I don't know.
uh, but I mean the interference call at the end. I mean, I know they called that tripping call on Balsers, but the hooking call that OEL had,
Yeah.
you could almost call the double minor because he also hooked and high stick Marlowe as he was going in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Again, I thought the Sharks played a good game considered everything. I thought they were composed most of it. I didn't. There was times where they've taken penalties and they've been like really lazy penalties. I didn't really find that tonight. Like I didn't really have like, wow, that you did that really, and you're gonna shake your head on the way to the box after take your hand off your stick and bear hug a guy as he blows past you. I didn't think that. I don't know. I didn't think it was a penalty shot. I just see in the chat like they thought it was penalty. He wasn't away.
No,
He wasn't away enough for that to be a penalty shot. But I can see the argument. I just don't agree.
yeah. Mikey on one Solorzano. If we sweep Colorado, I'll sell you $10 million.
Wow.
We're holding you to that.
Holding it. Yep.
We're going to save this, and when it happens on Saturday, fingers
Oh my
crossed.
Goodness.
It's going to happen. We'll just remember that. Or you can just Venmo us at Teal Town USA. That'd be a great to have to help support the show. That'd be really terrific. So, I mean, it's crazy to see overall. Despite the penalties there to take, but I thought they played a good game. Yeah, that second period wasn't great, but overall, and you had some nice goaltending by Koshinash, as you
Yep.
said. And good to see the youngsters coming together. I mean, Evander Kane continue his role, and not doing the not taking the bad
Yeah. I mean,
penalties.
Vander Kane's been pretty good this year. 41 points in 48 games. 42 points in 48 games. I mean, that's a decent total. It sucks to be that. I mean, the problem is like, you have Logan Couture with like 28 points and like Timo Meier 20 points. Like you need more. Like I think Kane's got a decent point total. You just wish more guys were closer to him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's be nice to have a little more productivity. Might change a lot of things. It might change a lot of might change a lot of the outcomes of this season, where a few victories here and there, and you're leapfrogging St. Louis. But again, nice to see some of the kids coming through. Nice to see a hard effort throughout the night, not just by the youngsters, but also the veterans as well. I thought this was a pretty solid victory overall.
Yeah, no, it was good. I don't think you should read more into that. Like the shitting of the bed the Blues would have to do at this point to get leapfrogged by the Sharks
no,
would be
course.
astronomically bad.
Yeah, no, it'd be crazy to even fathom.
Like, I know, like, some people, people would be like, oh, well, they're only 5 points behind. Just, you're right, they're only 5 points behind, but the Blues have like 2 games in hand,
right?
Still, and they're going on a run. So if they can keep this run going, I mean, they keep this run going, and this will be over sooner than we think.
Right.
It's not going to take too many. The Sharks would have to go on just an astronomical run, and like let's be honest. Okay, so they beat the Coyotes here, but they've got some tough games coming up.
A big series for Colorado, and with their loss to Vegas, it's a big one because Minnesota's right behind them in the standings, and Vegas is starting to pull away with the regular season division title. So.
Oh yeah, like I mean, they're all in, right? So it's just an issue of that final spot. But it's the Blues to lose at this point.
Absolutely. I mean,
right? Like, I want to be as optimistic as the next day, but I really I don't think like that 8-game losing streak kind of told you everything you need to know about this team.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think they're done losing this season yet. I think, look at, I mean, that's not, and then again, I'm not trying to take away anything from their last couple of games. Like Coyotes have a lot to play for, and the Sharks put two wins on the board, which is nice because you got fans back at SAP. So I mean, it's nice for them that paid some really dumb ticket prices to watch this team. I'm glad they saw some wins.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see that they're getting some fans back there. In fact, I think they said on the broadcast tonight that they donated, along with SAP, 500 tickets to frontline workers. So it's
cool.
It's really, really cool to have that there and everything. And they just opened up more tickets for the last, I think, 5 home games left. So not going to say that they might be affordable, but they are fairly decent. I mean, that makes me ponder a little bit, but we'll see. But let's get to some of the comments coming out of the locker room. Bugner was obviously first, but I like what Barabanov provides. His puck management. He's older, wiser, doesn't panic. Make him sound like he's jumbo aged, but he's like 26.
Well, I mean, but I mean, like 26 is, that's he's not a rookie, right?
Right.
Like this guy has played a ton of professional hockey. It just hasn't been in the NHL. So it's not like, he's a 19-year-old kid. And that's what you want to see from a guy who's had that previous experience. And that's why I think he is a player, because I think that if he can come in and look this good and look not out of place, and again, he plays, they put it on the broadcast. He plays, he's involved in everything, and he doesn't really make a whole lot of mistakes. I mean, that's what you want from a guy at that point in his career.
Completely, absolutely. And that's where you hope a few years down the road with the youngsters that were playing in the lineup tonight will be at come 26 when they're the age that Barabanov is.
Right.
Bugner continues on. We weren't very good in the second. We came back strong in the third. I thought we battled hard. We rolled 4 lines and put Young in certain positions and got a lot accomplished. Okay. Yeah. On Princeton Pasnicek, he played simply, competed hard, and that's I think at the very least what you want.
I mean, that's the thing with like guys like that, and guys like Knyzhov and like all those guys. Like you're better when you don't notice them, right? And I really didn't notice them that much tonight, and that's the good thing, because generally if you are noticing, if you're noticing, it's probably for the wrong reasons. A guy like that, right? So, I thought, I thought he was fine tonight. Do I think he's, a future NHL superstar? No. He's likely another guy from the Guy Factory. But you know what? Good on him. First NHL game. That's awesome for him.
Um, 199 super chat from SG 2021. How would you rate Koshinash on a scale from 1 to 10?
I haven't decided yet. Here's the thing. I mean, it's such a small sample size of games, right?
Right.
I think he's all right. Do I think that he is like next year's starter? No, I think at this point, I think he would probably be a serviceable backup. I think he's definitely a guy who could be the backup next year. But I think that he's going to, I still think that you buy out Jones and you bring in another veteran stopgap to, and maybe obviously, and maybe bring in a guy who's, a veteran stop guy that can maybe um, mentor him. But I don't know. I think there's an NHL backup there. I'm not sure there's an NHL starter there.
Devin Dubnyk might be a free agent after the end of this year.
Jesus.
I mean, he could come right back to it, which might be a interesting duo if that's the case. So I don't know. We'll see on that. Deuce's shoeless in the chat. Barabanov had such good chemistry with Kane. Really, it almost felt like the first line. Yeah, I mean that it was nice to see. I mean, Hurdle even said the same thing. It's like Barabanov is a really good hockey player, and it's fun to play with, and hopefully we can keep it going for the final 7 games.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
I mean,
I really, like I said, I'm really high on this guy. I think, he's definitely been one of the nice bright spots, and for a guy, for as much as I like Swoo, I think that, it was a good trade. Kind of, I thought they're kind of similar players, but Suomelo is never going to get on this team, with Bugner, and obviously Barabanov comes in with a clean slate and gets put in. And he's been able to do really well.
Yeah, it's nice to see. What wasn't nice to see was late in the first period, Couture took a hit from his old teammate Jason Demers, and apparently, once again, I think this is like for the 5th, 6th straight season that this has happened, that Couture lost teeth tonight. To quote Couture, I almost made it through the whole season, but lost 2 teeth tonight. It was from the Demers hit. He said he was missing 2, so he wanted us even.
Yeah, Couture is funny sometimes.
It's nice to have a little chuckle here and there, especially with this season that these guys have been having.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, absolutely.
Balsers saying we've come out ready these last couple of games. We're more energized, and it's been the difference. Well, I hope so, but whatever you're putting in your Starbucks is, or sorry, Tim Hortons, hashtag no free ads, would be nice to have. Obviously, maybe the first 48 games, but, way to finish the season strong.
Yeah, I mean, look, guys are going to be playing for jobs next year. I mean, that's what this stretch is going to be about from here on. Is going to be guys trying to make an impression for next year, and that's what it should be about at this point. It should be about guys being allowed to make an impression, and and the coaching staff getting to see what they have in some players. I mean, they're not that the Sharks have like an amazingly difficult offseason coming up, but they're going to have to make a few choices on some guys.
Yeah.
And what better way to do that than to do that, by giving guys opportunities to play and see what you have, because there are guys that are coming up that are getting up there in age to the point where it's time for them to either, solidify a spot, or it's time to cut bait.
Yeah. It's put up or shut up time, essentially. And Balser's trying to work on what he can do, but I'm trying not to think too much about the offseason of my contract. I'm just taking it game by game and pretty much working my ass off. Wow. We got one of the hockey cliches in that one there. But and he continues on that I'd be more than happy to be part of this team next year. And honestly, I think with the rate we're going,
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. And honestly, Ian, with some of these guys now getting decent numbers, you you wonder how interesting the offseason will be as to who they'll keep, and for that matter, who the Krakens are going to take.
Yeah, I don't know what the Sharks are going to do. I haven't really looked too far into. I'm really confused, right? Because really, if the Sharks really wanted to, they could pretty much protect everyone that makes money. I think that's the way to go about it?
Uh-oh. Ian, are you with us?
Some guys
There you
just
go.
to expose them.
Gotcha. All right. Lost you there for a little bit, but yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to go about, because I don't know how the heck. I mean, I know the Sharks need some cap space, which will help, but at the same time, will it come at a cost of things? Will DW try to make another deal to get more cap space out of there? I don't know.
I don't know. The problem with the Sharks is that they say so little that it's really hard. Like, I think I know what direction they should go, but as far as what direction they'll actually, I have no idea, because this team never says anything. And the only time Doug Wilson talks, he just, and I've said this a billion times, he checks which way the wind's blowing and then tells us what we already know. So I don't know what, we haven't really heard any big proclamations about what the plan is, which, I guess is fine. They don't have to tell us everything. But I mean, if I was a ticket holder, though, I'd be kind of miffed that I have really no idea what direction this team's supposed to be going.
Honestly, I mean, yes, all we've gotten were just the soundbite that they're going through a reset, and it's like, come on, guys, let us know. And honestly, I think through the last few games, especially after the 8-game losing streak, I think you kind of know and you kind of get an idea where they're headed now.
Yeah.
And you honestly hope and find out that you have some pieces that are going to work. You also have some guys that are in junior or college that are that you'll get excited about down the road. But I mean, shoot, it'd be nice to get a gem here and there, and especially in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, again, I have ideas of what the Sharks should do. I just don't know how, based on reality or based on what this team's actually going to do. I don't know, and that's frustrating, but at the same time, right? Because like, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I know everything, and the Sharks are going to buy out Martin Jones, and we're going to sign this guy and cut bait with that guy, and it's just.
I mean, if you did, I mean, that'd be great. Make the offseason a little bit easier to swallow, and massive foreseen points for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the concern, obviously, and I don't want to go too far off the rails here, but I just obviously, I think the concern is just looking rudderless for another season, right? Like, they're just not seeing the direction, just treading water.
Right. And so, and that's the thing. I mean, when the Sharks are eventually eliminated, fingers crossed, that, again, would love to be in the playoffs, but honestly, they're running out of time.
Would we resign Nieto? For the right price, I'd bring Nieto back. I think Nieto's been really good this year.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's been
for the role that he plays. I think he's been really good this year for the role that he plays. I'd bring Nieto back for the right price.
And I think now that you know what you're getting out of the Long Beach native, yeah, I'm with you. You're not expecting the 20 goals like we were originally were thinking, like with like Timo and Lebank are kind of expected to get. That is,
Because the Timo Meier thing's terrifying. Like, it's terrifying. I don't know what's gonna happen. But the possibilities there are very scary.
Indeed.
And I like Timo Meyer. I just maybe not at the price point that he's trending.
I could hear Hockey Trick already saying, "Oh, but what we could have had." Indeed. So, if you're new to us, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. We currently have 55 people watching, 22 likes. Come on now,
Welcome.
let's get those bump up likes. I mean, Ian's here. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning in his neighborhood, and
And he's gonna be up at 8 o'clock tomorrow.
oh goodness. So if you, I believe Jerry already donated for the wraparound. So let's get to it really quick and then let Ian get to bed. uh, on this night, the LA Kings broke out those beautiful white 90s throwback jerseys that they should have worn when the Sharks had their heritage jerseys on. But they lost to the Ducks 3-2. What? The Ducks won? What? How did that happen?
Sometimes bad teams play bad teams.
Cam Fowler with a minute one left in regulation with the game winner there. So they get the victory. Anaheim does and go on to scare the LA Kings into, well, let's see what the Kings are with 18, 23, 6, so 36, 42. Hey, the Ducks are not too far out from the cellar. That's all I'm saying. Speaking on the other side of the division, Vegas wins 5-2 over the Colorado Avalanche. Dubnyk was in net for this one for the Avs. Max Pacioretty with 2 goals on the night. Mark Stone had another crazy night for Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, it's these guys, like, these teams don't have a ton left to play for, so you don't want to read too much into it. But I feel like Colorado's been kind of sliding around, which might be, good or bad depending on your perspective for the Sharks. Or they might come in here really, really angry.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Colorado is just a point up on Minnesota. So for home ice in round 1. So that'll be interesting to see how that turns out. But as somebody drives by Ian's house, apparently.
Yep.
Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid and the team
What can
that
we say
he
about
plays
Connor
for.
McDavid?
I mean, Ian, is he going to hit 100?
He might.
Man, oh man, he had 3 assists tonight as the Jets lose to the Oilers 3-1. But my goodness,
He's a cheat code. He's a human cheat code. It's not even fair.
no, and it's just unbelievable year that he's having in a 56 game season. That will be interesting to see how the Oilers do in the playoffs. And most likely it will be against Winnipeg. So might have seen a playoff preview there. And speaking of playoffs, Toronto clinched the playoff spot tonight, beating the Montreal Canadiens 4-1. Some guy named Joe Thornton. I have you heard of him in that neck of the woods?
I've heard of him.
Got his 1100th assist on the night. I wish 1100th assist in his career. Congrats to Jumbo on that one for sure. So unbelievable.
Yeah, Montreal trying to do the best as they can to miss the playoffs, like snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory.
All I'm saying is, Montreal. Hey, that's the West Division that does that, not the fancy North Division. I mean, come on.
The Montreal Canadiens have been just quite the gong show of late. Like, I honestly, I don't know a better way to describe it. Like, gong show is like the best way to describe it.
Yeah, and then Calgary, it's like they could be in it, but they can't, and that's the tough part, is that they're just, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
I'd be really mad if I was like some of these North Division teams with how things have gone, because you figure that, some of these teams are going to go back into some pretty tough divisions next year.
like,
Especially like the Flames. Like, I think the Pacific is going to be, when you go back to normal, Pacific's probably going to be pretty decent next year.
yeah, I mean, pretty more than pretty decent. It's gonna be mm,
Like you have, like, let's say Seattle does okay, which, I'm not saying they're going to go to the Cup final like Vegas did, but they'll probably be okay. They'll probably be in the mix. Edmonton will be in there.
yeah.
Vegas will be in there, right? So I mean, like, what does that leave? One spot.
Basically everything that you have back again.
So
You have St. Louis and Minnesota. You replace it with Edmonton and you know whoever to
yeah,
get in there. So, but then the wild card will be in there as well. So that'll be interesting to see how that happens. Uh, St. Louis wins 4-3. The Blues with a 3-goal third period, including Mike Hoffman, former Sharks legend, with
Sharks legend Mike Hoffman.
with uh, with 2 goals on the night. And Bennington almost started stuff again with the goaltender. I don't know if you saw that, Ian, but it was like
No,
kind of had like a little bit of stare down, trying to get a little like
he's something else.
those goaltenders are a little crazy sometimes, huh? I don't know. And in the basement, Ottawa wins again 6-3. They now have as many victories as the Canucks. I know the Canucks need to make up a bunch of games, but
Sure.
but of course, hashtag that's so Sharks. As Chris Tierney got his 6th, Josh Norris got his 15th in a span of like 32 seconds in the second period to really make a statement for the Sens. But man, Ottawa kind of, you know, I'm not saying they're making runs, but maybe kind of like the Sharks, where they're like, okay, we could be a lot better next year.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, they got to start turning things around at some point, right? I'd be losing my hair if I was a Vancouver fan at this point. But yeah, I mean, like, again, a lot of these teams, you're running out of things to play for. You're playing for basically pride at this point. I just think it was nice before, for Vancouver to make the Leafs fans all crazy and then immediately start losing to the Senators. This is the things that I live for.
I mean, but honestly, it's like you beat Toronto coming out
Yeah.
of COVID protocol, and then you go to
Yeah,
Ottawa,
no,
and then
yeah, and as nature's healing.
oh man. All right, so with the victory tonight, the Sharks now go to the 9th best odds at winning the draft
Dun
lottery.
dun dun.
All right, you ready?
I'm
Let's
always ready.
see this shot in the dark happen. All right, we got. Oh gosh, wow. Well, speaking of Ottawa, they would win the draft lottery. Seattle would move up to number 2, and poor Buffalo at number 3, and the Sharks would stay 9th on there. So, still top 10 pick. We'll take
Yeah,
it. They drafted Meyer at number 9 overall. So
and Logan Couture.
that's good knowledge. I mean, not that it's never been questioned before, but Ian, but good knowledge, my friend. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, right? I think that I think Colorado's going to be in a really angry mood. And they're a lot better than this Yotes team. So I think, we can fall down again.
Yeah. Uh, Answer this question as Benjamin Castle mentions it. Does the new lottery rules kick in this year with the 10-spot max move?
Yes. Yes, that will kick in this year.
So, yeah. So there's something interesting. Yeah. And like AJ saying, it's a simulator. It doesn't matter. Yes, but
Matters to me, damn it.
it's always fun to play around and just see. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
I mean, shoot, if Chicago could get a top 3 pick, one year, I mean, the Sharks could have the magical bouncing lottery balls run their way. I mean, shoot, look at New York last year. You know,
Yeah.
so. All right. In case you missed anything and you want to check us out again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. We can't stress that enough. Of course, audio on the SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio. Maybe we'll get onto Odyssey fairly soon as well. But, like we said, always available at tealtownusa.com for this one. So, with that, the Sharks went 4-2. They've won 2 in a row. Ninth best odds at winning tonight. No, I refuse to let Ian have his simulated fun. How dare he? Fun must be always. Don't you know that from Tomas Hertl? Come on now. But Ian, your final thoughts and where do people can find you, bud?
Final thoughts. Again, these last two victories for the Sharks mean is that St. Louis has a better chance of making the playoffs. Other than that, you can find me at Ian Blogs Hockey on the Twitter machine. And yeah, I don't really have much else tonight. I think, when the Sharks do good, it's good. Even if it's not good, if you're on Team Tank.
I think that was pretty well put, my friend. I am at Puckguy14 on the Twitter, the Instagram. The Sharks will head out to Colorado for a 2-game set. Will Philip Grubauer be ready to go? Or now Jerk's just having fun with us now. 2-game set with Colorado, Friday at 6 p.m., Saturday at 5. We'll be covering both games as always. We'll be with you here. So, you know what? It'd be great. It'd be great to maybe see if they pull something out. But, of course, they might run into their former goaltender, Devin Dubnyk, which means, they're doomed.
Vezina time.
Oh, yeah. Big time. So check us out on all our other content. AJ recently sat down with Jonathan Becker about the Downtown West project, which that vote is being considered tonight, and along with all the considerations surrounding the Shark Tank. So we'll see the fallout from that and what the Sharks' standpoint is on there. But until Friday, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We will see you on the Discord now and on Friday, following Sharks and Avalanche Game 1. Good night, everyone.
Night.